I don't know. There I am. Okay. Hi, folks. Welcome to the program, All About Cars. My name is Ralph Medeiros, and I own and operate Ralph's Auto Center with my son, Andrew, in the north end of New Bedford at 867 Church Street. Very easy to get to. Just off of Route 140, exit 5, put you on Church Street. Go down about a half mile on the right-hand side, just after Regal House Furniture, right beside Dollar General. And give us a call here. If you have a problem with your car, talk about whatever's on your mind, you can call us up here at 9960500, 9960500, and we can discuss whatever problem or whatever's on your mind and bugging you. Today's a gorgeous day, kind of a, well, I call it a late winter day. The sun's out. It's a little on the chilly side, but it's dry. That makes the cold much more tolerable. And winter's winding down here as the days are getting longer. We're almost at our spring equinox, and I think the clocks go ahead next Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. I can double check on that. I think it is on the 12th. Am I right on that? Yeah. Or maybe the 13th. Can't forget. It's Sunday. Next Sunday. Week from this Sunday. Anyway, today, being March 5th, sunrise was at 6:11. 6:11 this morning. We gained 11 minutes from last Saturday in morning, early light, let's put it that way. 11 minutes earlier the sun came up from last Saturday. Sunset, the good news is, it's going to be at 6:39 this evening. We gained 8 minutes. Right now we're gaining more in the morning than in the evening. But this week we've gained 19 minutes of light. The tide of light is rushing back into the northern hemisphere, which will bring life back, and we'll have renewal. And so far, from the first day of winter, we've gained 2 hours and 19 minutes. So there's certainly a substantial change. People down in New Zealand, Australia, that part of the world, South Africa, they're seeing fall right around the corner. And we're about to enter spring. So that's good news for us. Today, moonrise is going to be at 3:39. It took place at 3:39 this morning, and it sets very shortly at 1400 hours, so that'll be 2 p.m. And the moon right now is in a waning phase, so we'll be going into a new moon pretty soon. Low tide's already taking place at 10:17, and high tide will be at 5:02. So you just about have enough time to do a little bit of cohogging, maybe. Anyway, we've got a caller here. We'll take this caller. A very good afternoon to you, caller.
Hi, Ralph. M1HCW checking in with you at Water Ken.
Okay.
How you doing?
Good. If I had a QSL card, I'd send you one.
That's it.
So you had those tubes warmed up so you didn't have any drift, huh?
That's it. Big time.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good.
It,
so I guess the environmentalists will still let you run a tube radio because they burn about 4 times more electricity.
Yeah, as long as we don't run any PCB capacitors, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll fill cans. But
they got a law for everything today.
That's it, no doubt. But just checking in for support. I enjoy your show.
Well, thank you very much.
Time, so.
That old radio must really hum nice with some of the old music. Cause
that's why I check in anyway. So.
Yeah, it's tuned.
Hey, I see one on the bay for similar model with the cabinet for $6,000. So
really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
What more, Matt? I looked up your model. I thought I did it at home. Give me that model in the
Model 10.
Model 10
Series.
Model
4700.
Series what?
4700.
Okay, Model 10 Series 4700 at Water Kent.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's some heavy money, huh? Must have been a real primo one for that kind of money.
That's it.
Wow.
We'll trade in for a Nova or something.
Yeah. Well, you could probably swap it for an antique car if it's worth that kind of money.
There you go. All right, Ralph.
Well, thank you.
All right, bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Folks, give us a call here, 9960500. I'm going to toss the question out there. Maybe someone in the audience might know. What happened to my notes here? Find my notes. Gee, man, I was just showing it to you, and, we got to disconnect that fella. Anyway, we got a caller here. I can do my research here. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Ralphie.
Billy.
Yes, how you doing, sir?
Good. Your pot didn't come in.
Didn't come in?
No, I put the wrong pot number in, so it got delayed. I reversed the number, so it died in purgatory.
Oh, so you rerouted it?
Yeah. So
good man.
I said, what the hell happened? Everything looks right, and the pot number was a long one. So I looked, and I saw I reversed the numbers.
Oh, okay.
So I had to correct that. So.
Oh, good man.
Yep. So
what else is going on, Ralphie?
Well, we've been quite busy. Andy's been bouncing around. It's the time of year where people get a lot of their tax return money in, and they need a car, and they want to upgrade what they've gotten.
Yeah.
And we get a little busy because of it. So.
Hey, that's good news.
People have a little cash in their pockets, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, that's good news.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
And it's getting close to that time where it's spring. Next week, week from tomorrow, we can turn the clock. That's another extra hour.
Yeah, next Sunday, right?
Yes, sir. It is 13th. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So Saturday night, before you go to bed, you turn it ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a plus.
Yeah, that means
more daylight.
Yeah, that means we have more light than darkness.
You got it right.
At least in the universe. On Earth, that's a different question.
Yeah.
I think we have more darkness than light, but that's the battle.
Well, we're headed in that right direction. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No questions about it.
Yeah. Ralphie.
Yes, sir.
On your computer, right?
Yeah.
I want you to look for it's a 1970 Chrysler convertible 300. Okay?
1970 Chrysler 300 convertible.
Yeah, they didn't make many of them, and they were made for 2 years before Chrysler stopped making convertibles, and they started up again in the...
Yeah, they stopped them in the late 70s.
So this here, it was one good-looking vehicle, okay? They made it in 70, 71. It's class 300, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay?
Yep, it's a big vehicle, that 300.
Yeah, and it says it represents end of an era.
Yeah. That was quite a large vehicle. I remember those cars.
And in fact, if you look at the front end of this thing, it almost looked like a Charger front end, the grill and everything.
Yeah, and they had big engines available for that too.
Yeah, but they had as much as
They put Hemis.
Yeah, Hemis on. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
But it's a nice looking car.
Yeah. Matt's got it here on the screen. Yeah,
You got one now? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a. He's got a blue one here on the screen.
Yeah, I haven't had a red one, but the interior was black, and it's a very nice looking dashboard in this thing with the console on the floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it has white walls, which were kind of being pulled forward there, and that's a 70 you have there, Matt. Yeah, 1970 white walls are already on the way out, kind of deal, right?
Yeah, they were small ones, only 3/4.
Yeah. That one has a pretty good. I mean, the one I did like was the B.F. Goodrich with the red stripe on Oldsmobile 442s. I thought that looked sharp.
Yeah, you're right. They come with all kinds of stuff. It said white walls are on the way out, but we have other color side walls.
Yeah. I thought that made for a nice.
Yeah. Well, I thought this was a nice looking buggy.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful car. Absolutely.
And the interior is just nice. Oh God, it looks so. In fact, the seats go way back a little bit.
Oh, you could have a party in that car. I mean, it's big enough.
Yeah.
You can put a gang in that car. Look at the seats on the thing. It's a gorgeous car. And it's got the.
Huh?
I like too in the old days. The rear seat, the speaker is between the two.
Yes, that's right.
Right?
Yeah.
I think Chevy started that first. I could be wrong on. Remember the Chevys? I think started.
Yeah, so right between the two seats there.
Yeah, in the rear.
In the rear, the rear cushion.
Yeah. Instead of putting it on the back deck of the, behind the glass or below the glass, they put it right behind the.
Yeah, it's like a little cutout in there. That's where it fit right in there.
Yeah, and they got a steel grill. Nice chrome.
Yeah, chrome grill. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just made for a nice touch,
And before that, do you remember where you used to put the speakers? Before they put them between the rear cushions in the back?
When they had duals, you mean? Dual speakers was a real major upgrade in the day.
Yeah, I know, but where did it... All right, now we're looking at this one here.
Right.
And your speaker is what we just said, right?
Right.
But before that, where were the speakers located?
Well... Back then, first of all, you were lucky to have one speaker, let alone two.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the speaker would be up front where the radio was, right on the radio itself.
Right.
Facing, some of them was coming right at you.
Yeah.
Before they put them forward and,
all right, but I'm not saying it didn't have to come from factory that way.
Oh.
But, where would you put them if you had a convertible, okay?
Uh-huh.
And you wanted to have the speakers like this
you'd have to put them in the side panels.
Yeah, you could do that, but there was other things too, other ways of doing it.
Well, they used to have those bolt-on types. Used to be able to was common. You'd buy the plastic speakers with the brackets, but on a convertible, of course, you had nothing to mount them. When
yeah, but okay. Let me help you out here.
Yeah.
Some of the speakers were put in as 6x9s.
Right. They put them in door panels.
Yeah.
They did that.
Yeah.
I remember doing that, you know, because cars didn't come standard that way.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You could, as we say in the old days, we could improvise and put it in different places, okay?
Right.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
There's one more place you could put this, though, with them.
Yeah, where?
Right behind the convertible seat.
Oh, lay it down with a...
No, they would be standing right up.
Right behind the convertible seat.
I have it in my Impala, yes.
That's the valley where the top collapses into, no?
Yeah, and there's a board put in there, and the speakers are mounted to that, and it's run underneath the carpet up to the front. The speakers you could, like any other radio, high, put up high, soft, bass, treble, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but when the... Okay, let's go over this.
All right, let's go again. All right,
when the speakers... But if you have a convertible...
Yes.
And you put the speakers behind the rear seat...
Yep.
The convertible collapses behind the rear seat, so your speakers would be smothered.
It clears it.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Oh, okay.
It does
Some cars, I know some of them I worked on were real, you know, they were kind of tight.
No, in fact, Richie's Radio hooked us in years ago.
Did he? Okay.
And what's so nice about it, when you have the soft top up,
yep,
and you have the speakers on, it just brings that sound so nice right up to the back seat, right over the top of that soft top in the car.
Yeah, you remember the little volume control, the little silver volume control you used to mount at the bottom of the dashboard to pick the front and the rear and the balance?
Yeah, right. You could do it right or left.
Right.
Yes.
Remember the little, used to make a little aluminum bracket used to mount? It was aftermarket.
Yep.
The fact the American cars were slow to catch on. The Japanese cars, one of their first call to fans was putting speakers in the doors, you know, getting more fancy on the stereos so to get people interested in the sound. You know, they were quick to do that, and then the Americans finally woke up and started.
Yeah. And finally, trucks started getting them in the doors, too.
Yeah.
Pickups.
Yeah. Most of the time, you had to end up cutting them out and putting them in yourself.
Yeah, but now they come from the factory like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, speakers. Yeah. Now, your speaker systems on cars can run you $1,000 or more.
Yeah.
Easy.
And then speakers up behind on the back of your seat and on the seat pillar.
Yeah, I mean today people want to be entertained. I mean you've got
They have and AM and FM radios were just starting to come in the late '60s.
Well, yeah, if you had an FM radio, you were the cat's meow. Most people didn't have FM.
I'm lucky because my Chevy has it both AM, FM, and I had that little switch, like you say, behind the knob. It's like a little chrome piece cigarette. You can flip it either way for AM and FM.
Yeah. Well, the FM's, I used to install, oh my God, dozens and dozens of FM converters from Radio Shack for $35. Used to buy them.
Yep.
And install them in cars. And $35 then is worth a lot more than in today's money. That's for sure, because they've really prostituted the dollar in the last 40 years. That's for sure. But
we've come a long way from before, but, you know, everybody looks at something and say, wow, that's got dual speakers here and there, but as kids who were longer, we always had that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Improvising it ourselves.
Well, yeah, if you wanted to, you know, spruce up your car, you had to do a lot of these accessories yourself.
Yep.
And, you know, like back then, J. Whitney Bent was big for ordering stuff, you know, had all these oddball things you could put in your car as options, and they still do, I guess, right? I haven't been on their website in so long. I should check.
Oh yeah, they still have it.
Yeah. I should check that. I haven't.
Do you remember what? I remember up in the North End.
J.C. Whitney.
What company that had all those accessories years ago?
Yep.
What was it?
Western Auto.
You got it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I used to get a lot of that stuff out of there. You don't find them around anymore locally here, you know?
No, they were right on Purchase Street near Sears, not too I think.
Yeah, well, they had one in North End. They had one way up in North End, too. And way up, like, near Saskatoon.
Yep.
They had a few of them, but, I mean, you could find all that stuff to do this kind of work, but you can't find it anymore like that. Locally, I'm talking about.
Well, the Internet is where it's all moved to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything today is the Internet.
Yeah.
So that's what's happened. It's people, you can do all your research, find things, and you can even order them. I mean, sometimes we've had to order parts directly from overseas to get certain parts.
Mm-hmm.
We've ordered them from Germany. We've ordered them from China over the years. Then you have to wait, of course, for them to come in, unless you want to pay the premium air freight, and you get a little bit quicker, depending on the circumstance. But yeah, so it's truly global as far as getting things.
I know, but I mean, what I noticed, you could jump in your car, go right there on Purchase Street or whatever, and walk in and get, speakers, this, that, whatever you want, right in the hand,
Well, I guess, it's a change in the landscape in retail.
I understand.
Because the cost of putting a store up and paying the taxes and the heat and the light, and you can go to some obscure location and a place with, very low land costs, very low taxes, open a retail store, and then UPS truck is showing up every 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, hauling out orders, shipping them around the world, and that's the model they're going with. And
you're right, Ralphie.
It's killing a lot of these guys, Billy.
Oh, I'm pretty sure all the small guys are just, gone by the wayside. A lot of places are closing up,
Yeah, I just heard that.
And Walmart, they're all closing up stores.
Walmart just had a major contraction. They're in the middle of a major contraction.
Yeah, Macy too, and also Kohl's is going to close 18 of them. So I'm not here all over, you know what I mean? But they're closing.
I just heard Sports Authority's closing?
Yeah, one of them going bankrupt.
They're shutting down a lot of stores here in Massachusetts.
Yep.
But our economy's so well. Everyone's prospering so well in the almost...
I want to go there. Where is it? Let me know.
Well, 7 years of Obamerism, and here we are,
Oh, we are?
Yeah, here we are.
I didn't realize I was doing so good.
No hope. No hope. Not enough change to buy a loaf of bread. Hope and change. No change. Not enough change. So that's this, and now there's new selling projects starting over again, and people get sucked into the emotions and the candidate and this and that, and it's.
Well, I don't know. There's so much of that crazy stuff going on. I don't even want to watch it. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of people get turned off.
Fighting with one another, and nobody's really telling me what you can do for the country or the average person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay. Now, Ralphie, the question for the day. You ready, sir?
Go ahead.
All right. Nash, Lafayette. Was that one company or two companies?
Nash Lafayette?
Yeah. Lafayette, was that one company? Nash is one company or whatever?
I think Lafayette was around in the 30s, but didn't last long. I think they got sucked in by Nash. They bought them up and took them over. You're
right. But everybody thought that it was always Nash Lafayette, but Lafayette was a company of their own until around
32, 3, am I right?
No, up to about 36, 37.
All right. Well, I know they were, they didn't make it through the Depression.
No.
Yeah, they got, they were just too weakened by it.
And the slowdown of 38, I think, wiped them out, and then that's when Nash picked them up. But everybody said, Nash always made Lafayette. They did not.
No, Lafayette was a freestanding line of cars.
Yes.
Kind of like you hit me with the other one there, the last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I remember Lafayette's. They were around for, I don't know. I guess they started in the 20s. They didn't just make it too far.
No, they didn't. Because I remember I went to a AMC show, and the latest one I seen. In fact, the guy come from Attleboro, Mass. Was a 36 Lafayette coupe.
Okay, wow, 36.
So I know it's around 36, 37 when Nash bought them out, or they merged, or whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you're right, sir.
What was Lafayette's claim to fame as far as engineering?
I really don't know. I mean,
I don't know if they had a certain niche that they exploited. Like every car company was pushing technology and efficiency.
Yeah. To me, it was everything standard. I didn't see nothing fancy in that car. 3-speed on the floor, a coupe. I didn't see anything special back then.
I have a question for you, maybe the audience. I won't, and I can't find my notes, Matt. Remember the sheet I showed you? I can't find the bloody thing.
Oh, good, then I don't have to answer it.
No, I remember the question, though. What year was the first year high beams came out on an automobile?
High beams?
Yeah.
Good one, Ralph. That's a good one.
Maybe the audience can answer if somebody knows out there without cheating.
No, I'm not going. I don't cheat.
No, not you, but somebody will go to their computer and run around.
I'm going to take a good step.
Well, they can go to the computer. I don't care, but
I'm going to take a stab at this.
Go ahead.
I would say early 30s, middle 30s.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Too high, too low?
Too high.
Too high?
Yeah, too high. Yeah. I can't find my sheet.
All right, then let me hit you one more
Good thing
time.
we're not in a war game here, because I would have... Matt, you saw me. I showed you it. Huh? Oh, there it is.
I would say, give me another shot at it. I would say around 1939, 40, 41.
No, you're too early.
Good.
You're too late. Or too late. Excuse me. You're too late. You're in the war years. You know.
Yeah. Well, just before the war.
Well, yeah. You're in the prep years of the war. Yeah.
Well, I know my.
Well, it's a tough one.
I know my 41's got the high beams on it.
I mean, they're not the kind of high beams people are used to today. When you hit them and they blind you. You know, these new car lights with these jewel headlights.
The ones that hit the floor button.
Yeah, that was the first generation of what they call high beams. You know, which aren't nowhere near what today's high beams are today.
But I know my 41 has. That's why I thought around 39, 40 or so.
Yeah, I mean, the newest cars have powerful LED headlamps.
They blind the hell out of you.
Oh, they'll blind you. Matter of fact, I don't know why the registry doesn't get after, people and the police with these people who change their light bulbs, and they put these ultra white or colored bulbs in, and they go
look
by.
like bluish.
Yeah, they're blue. Some have a tint green, and they're blinding. They're actually higher wattage lamps. They're not normal.
If you get two of them coming down together, wow, you got to really be careful.
Yeah, they're not on high beams though, but the idiots drive around with their fog lamps on too. So so they have all these looms on the road, and they're blinding a lot of people because they have the high intensity output lamps in there, and they burn a few more watts than the standard lamps. And I'm surprised the registry doesn't do something about it, but enforcing these rules. But I don't want to get into it. I'll get into my tyrants here. The whole system's going to hell. Jesus, I'll tell you. Hope and change.
Well.
Hope and change.
Well, we hope so. We hope so.
Well, I don't know.
Well, Ralphie.
They were hoping and looking for change on the Titanic, too.
Yeah, it got it all right, didn't it?
Yeah. Less than 2 hours.
Yeah. Unsinkable.
Yeah. It's just like sound as a dollar. Good as a dollar. Remember that?
Yeah.
You were saying to me several months ago, we were talking, and you and I were lamenting back and forth, and you said something to me that kind of stuck in my head, and you were talking about all the years you've been around and the good times, the bad times in America, and you said to me, in the 50s, I didn't know how well off I was compared to now. And, I was listening to some reading some economic articles talking about the American experience and how much poorer we are today versus people in the 50s, in the 60s, early 60s, before the Great Society, when everything went to hell. After that, with guns and butter, war, and all these social programs. And the irony is we have more poverty now than we did back then. So it's flummoxing, to say the least. But back in the 50s, a guy could go to work, his wife, and a lot of wives wanted to stay home and work at home and raise the family, and kids turned out to be, by and large, I don't know, I would say with better guidance, because mom and dad, there was more mentoring to these young people. And it's pretty much, I guess, my generation to some degree, and compared to what you see happening now. And people were truly far more wealthy. And I also thought, I remember a lot of working folk in New Bedford, just average people with average jobs who made a good buck. The money went far. We weren't taxed at confiscatory rates like we are today. And they owned summer homes down on the Westport River, Cattleman's Neck.
Yeah, Sconneck Neck.
Yeah, Sconneck Neck. Now they weren't huge homes. They were summer homes. And they go there for 3-4 months of the year, and the taxes were low, and the regulations, they didn't have to have, $25,000 septic systems and all these regulations and laws, and which just basically regulates the little guy, the middle of the road guy, out. Unless you got a ton of money, you're not in the game. Get lost. And you look what's happened, and they've devalued our currency, redistributed our wealth around the world, and now we have to compete with other countries with extremely low wages, and also we have our legs wide open at the borders. So all these people come over here now granted, a lot of Americans now especially have this entitlement mentality, and they feel that I'm not going to work at a horse stable and clean stables. I'm not going to work, in the hay fields. So, you have to bring in, other workers from mostly the Latin Americans to do these jobs that are considered menial. And America's not alone. I mean, the Germans do the same, and the Japanese have throughout the decades. So, but as
it was the best time we ever had. I'm telling you, when we.
Yeah. Well, I think anybody can think they try to figure out what's happened, but.
Yeah, but I mean, the kids today, they see what's here, but they really don't know when it was like in the 50s. You could buy what I call a real car, and they were expensive for what we did, but the payments were so low you could buy the damn things. You know what I mean?
Well, you had real wealth, you had real money.
Yes. Yeah.
Now you don't. You're making 10 times more, but it's buying 5 times less.
Right.
So in real terms.
Yeah.
So it's. I mean,
there's so much to do back then. The art theaters, all the shows within the city, and all the boxing. I mean, there's just so much to do. You could do something every night or go somewhere. Today, it's tough. There's not much going on. Lincoln Park, Cushing Park, everything's about gone by the waysides.
Yeah. Well, we've had an immense amount of poor management. Of our economy.
I'm just glad I can remember them days. It was really, really a good time. It was.
Well, I find it amazing, when I was talking to someone else too about, like, they were talking about lunch, and I said, "You going out to lunch?" He said, he came back. I said, "Gee, you go out to lunch, you spend a lot of money." He said, "I only spent $7." I said, $7. I said, that's a little bit of money if you're doing it 3-4 times a week.
Yep.
Let alone 5. And I said, I used to go for lunch, and it cost me less than 60 cents. He says, "What the hell did you eat?" So I said, "I used to have 2 hamburgers, a French fry, and a thick shake." They said, "That's impossible." I said, "No, it wasn't impossible." He said, "That's impossible. Who was paying the other part of the bill?" I said, "I paid the whole bill." And I said, I was a young guy. I had at one time I had 3 jobs and, hustling. And I said, yeah, it cost me less than $1, 60-something cents. It was 2 hamburgers. The hamburgers were 15 cents. The bag of chips was 12 cents. And the thick shake was 20 cents. Yeah. And he said, "That's impossible. I don't believe it." I said, "I'm telling you."
When was this guy born?
Oh, he was a young guy. He was like 24.
Oh, yeah, he wouldn't
have a clue.
Yeah.
But and I said money went a lot further. And to people today, they don't have a grip of what's of our economy.
What they did, Ralphie, it said that they created all these new jobs. That's the good side. The downside is that their pays are not down; they're down. Not per hour.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, they've been raising the minimum wage, trying to raise it.
Yeah, I know, but what they said, they created all these 200,000 jobs, which is good. But yet the pays were not there.
Well, no, they're all, for the most part, minimum wage jobs.
Yep.
And in Massachusetts, that's $10 an hour.
So,
which our state is an expensive state to live in. So if you're making $8 in South Carolina, you're probably at the same rate because it's less expensive to live down there, as an analogy. But
I know, but what I'm trying to say is, when they go on, they say, "Oh, things are so good. We create all these jobs," but people say the person is still making the same kind of money. They're making less.
Wages in the private sector have not been rising
that's what they're talking about.
near the true rate of inflation, or in real terms at all, since probably I would say since the 70s is when things started to go with stagflation, when we took ourselves off the Bretton Woods agreements and we debased our currency and created a fiat currency under Nixon because they couldn't afford to settle accounts in gold, so that we went to a petrodollar model, and here we are.
Well, Ralph, here's the thing. Years ago, when I bought the cars off of you down there, when you were down at where J.C.'s.
Yep, I was down on Cove Road.
Yep, and your father used to take the used cars, and I used to buy them for my kids. And I remember going down and buying them for $500-600.
Yeah.
But the same cars today, right? About the same amount of distance, years old. You know what I mean? Like, when you took them from trade, they were probably 5-6 years old. Same thing now. Look at the difference in prices, huh?
Oh yeah. Today I can't buy engines or transmissions for $500.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. You see the difference it was back then?
Oh, listen, Billy. Believe me, I have empathy. I have a lot of people come see me for basic transportation, and they want to spend. I have a lot of people come to me. Do you have a $500 car? And I look at them and say, "Hey, it's serious," and they just don't have it, and they're really in dire straits. And I say, "Gee, I'm sorry, if I did, I really can't. A $500 car today is problematic. And a lot of women come in and they're in tough shape, or they're raising kids, their boyfriend's taken off or what have you. There's every situation from A to Z. And I said, an $800 car, unless you're a technician, I can't sell it to you because there's just too many problems. I mean,
years ago, even though we bought the cars off you for $500, $600.
Oh, they had a lot of life.
They had a life in the cars.
Yeah.
Because my kids running back. My son still has the first car.
But Billy,
we bought off of you.
In fairness, though, $500 then is like $2,500 today.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
Purchasing power.
That's the point I was getting at.
Right, in purchasing power. So that's the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
Our currency is being debased, and we're in the debt up to our eyeballs. The government, and so is the private sector. A lot of people are living the American dream because it's on a credit card. And I think when reality hits, the Canadians are going through a bout of that right now. But we don't want to talk about them. They don't want to tell you what's happening in Canada. They don't want to tell you what's happening in Puerto Rico. They can't pay the debts and $72 billion in bonds. They're trying to, and they want us, we the people here, the Americans here, to pick it up. I mean, we got a real mess cooking here. So.
Well, this city's bonded to the hilt over here, so we know about bonds. What
do you mean? A city is what?
Our city is so bonded out. I mean, they got 2 bonds out, and they take another one out to build all this new stuff they want to do. So, we're going to come down 19. We're going to really get whacked pretty hard.
Well, I think we have a pretty strong bond rating, but it's because they're extracting it out of you and I, the taxpayers. We're paying a heavy burden in taxes. Yeah, I mean, we're being taxed
to death.
Right, so we're being heavily taxed, and so the city can have a strong bond rating. Well, it's like when you go into I don't know, if it's like going to a monopoly to buy gas, let's say, and they tell you they want $4 a gallon. Well, if they're the only band in town, guess what? They're going to extract it from you. Same deal. Same goes for the pharmaceutical industry and the medical industry. Everything's geared to bleed the little guy.
Ralphie, it's all in the medical field and in public employment. All these new jobs that just come in.
Yeah,
you don't see much in the private sector like that. It's mostly in restaurants the food industry, which would be restaurants, and a lot of public employees being hired.
Yeah, well, you have huge corporations that are doing okay, but they're part of they're the connected company. Companies like, for instance, Goldman Sachs has over 35,000 employees in that company. Goldman Sachs Bank. Now, I have 35,000 employees. That's more people working for Goldman Sachs than people that work in New Bedford. When you think about it,
yeah.
More people work for Goldman Sachs than people work in this whole city. I would bet. We don't have 35,000 of the citizens of this city working.
No, you're right.
We got more than that collecting a check. Some they've earned, like Social Security.
And some people are losing their jobs in the city now anyway.
No, it's just...
Well.
But hey.
Day by day, Ralphie.
But I find it amusing.
What my father said, don't worry about yesterday because it's gone.
Yeah.
And don't worry about tomorrow because it's not here.
No, you got the moment.
You know what I mean? You got it right here, so enjoy this amount. Yep. You don't know what's coming down the road.
Yeah. Hope and change. Hope and change. All right.
All right, Ralphie.
See you later.
Hey, I'll catch you later, buddy.
Thank you, Billy.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Very good afternoon to you, Colin.
Hi, Ralph. I enjoy you and Billy.
Oh.
What I wanted to say was yesterday on BSM, they said we were $17 trillion in debt, this country.
Oh, yeah, all of that plus.
Yeah, really. Mm-hmm. Oh, boy.
But don't worry about it. We'll just print more money. We're,
smart.
Working people are poorer because they've inflated the currency. We have dishonest. We don't have money. We have currency. It's dishonest money at the highest level.
Yeah.
And the people who have access to it first, namely the crony capitalists who game the system, like the Goldman Sachs, the J.P. Morgans, and other international corporations who get the money from the Fed first, have the first use of it, and get the maximum use before we get these inflated dollars down at our level.
Yeah.
And then they'll chastise us,
Ralph, you've got it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay,
yep,
bye.
Bye-bye. I don't know. All I know, it's, I find it amusing with Bill Clinton coming to the city. I've seen him before. I saw him one time in, I think it was Taunton, if I'm not mistaken, some time back. But, and it's always bugged me, Clinton and the Obamas. They summer out in Martha's Vineyard. And, I'm sure Bill Clinton has had many nice days and evenings out at the vineyard enjoying some nice sea bass dinner with organically grown asparagus and carrots on top, and maybe having a great glass of Portuguese wine with Carly Simon at the table and other, actors and actresses enjoying the sea breezes. And never once did they think, hey, let's go to New Bedford and see the masses. Let's go see the barrios and the favelas in New Bedford, and maybe have a bowl of kale soup and a genetically modified quahog. I'd have more respect for him if he came here either before or after his vacation, because we don't want to interrupt his vacation, nor Obama's for that matter. But do they ever go to the masses and just show up casually and, meet the people and all that? No. When they want something from you, you vote and whip you up, and they'll get the, they get the party members out there in lockstep, and, here we go. So, when I see this, dog and pony show, I don't know. To me, I'd have far more respect if Obama had taken New Bedford is surrounded by the same waters as Martha's Vineyard or Nantucket, and they'll never step foot over here in the summer months, the prime time, unless they need something. But to come over here and enjoy some of our cuisine, I mean, it's a little tough to compete against, some Martha's Vineyard sea bass and organically grown asparagus. But I'll put a good bowl of kale soup up against that, and I don't know about a genetically modified quahog, but a good solid Portuguese quahog any day. I think Bill and Obama are missing something. We got a caller here. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon. I like what you just were saying. It was cool.
Well, I mean it sincerely. I'm being sarcastic.
I know.
To a degree, but that's the hypocrisy I see here. Between these politicians at the highest level,
yep.
And they're over in the vineyard, they're only a few miles away.
Oh yeah.
And
they don't want to see the real.
Well, I never forgot. I was sitting beside I was at some years back, maybe 20. Oh God, time goes by. I have to be careful, but it was 25 years ago, and I was at the dedication of the Prince Henry Society statue down at Pope's Park. Right, Marine Park, they call it. Pope's, not Pope's Park. Marine, what's it called? No, not Pope's Island. Marine Park, isn't it?
I think it's Marine Park.
Marine Park, right at the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Just before the Haven side. And we're at this dedication. This was in the 90s. And I'm sitting beside a very connected person, let's put it this way, legally. Okay? It was a judge. And we're waiting for the speaker to come to talk to us about the dedication. And then this lady, and I forgot her name, and she flown in from Nantucket, and we waited for her, and it was all people there under the tent, and dignitaries and politicians, because that statue the Prince Henry Society had put up cost about $150,000.
Yep.
So it's a pretty big investment, Yep. The Portuguese government paid for the sculpture to do it in bronze, and we paid for the mounting and the groundwork, which was another $75. All said in total was at least $150. But anyway, she finally shows up. A nice lady, tall, blonde lady, middle-aged. And so she says, I'm sorry for being late. I finally had to leave Nantucket and got a flight and come to New Bedford. And I'm really, the similarities between Nantucket and New Bedford are quite impressive. And I nudged the guy beside him and said, where the hell is she from? And he says, hey, Ralph, she's been appointed ambassador to Portugal by the Clinton administration. I said, she has? I said, okay. I don't see how that could happen. She says, it happens easily because her husband is heir to the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco, and they donated $1 million to the Democratic Party. So she got the ambassadorship. I said, oh, okay. So, but I mean, they come in, they have no clue to what's happening around them. And I think these are the issues that the average person has to educate themselves about. Really, we're at a critical point in our country, and I'm not advocating for any specific candidate. Don't miss. Well, frankly, if you're going to draw me out, I would say ABC. It's as simple as ABC. Anybody but Clinton. And that's my view of it. ABC. So I'm sorry, but what's your comments?
Well, I kind of agree with you with that one.
Yeah.
I listen to you all the time, and I know you play old music.
Yeah.
Right now I'm in a quandary.
Okay.
The song that they call The Wind Mariah. It's an old song. Would you have that?
What's called? It's called the...
I don't know if that's the title. They call The Wind Mariah. It was either like Ron Monroe or Frankie Lane or somebody like that.
Well, we'll see if we can drill it down. Probably try to pay it in the second hour, okay?
Okay.
I'll try to see if I can find it in this show. If not, I'll do more research, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for calling.
And I like to listen to you.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Hey, Ralph.
Hey.
First-time caller, and I've been listening to you for many, many, many years.
Wow. Thank you.
Work Saturday mornings and listen to you.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Listen, I just want to say that, I'm a Trump guy, but I really lost a lot of respect for the mayor over this whole Clinton thing. I really don't blame Clinton. I blame the mayor,
Well, I think Clinton is the power there. You know what I'm saying?
The mayor would have known what the rules are.
Well, that's a given. That's a given.
The whole get over it thing was just disgusting. Disgusting.
Well.
And, hey, believe me, if it had been the other lady that ran against him, the Giesta, it probably would have been worse, The problem with New Bedford is there's no good candidates that want the job. And if this is Clinton country, it's nothing to be proud of. New Bedford's a great town, don't get me wrong. I love it,
Mm-hmm.
But
no, I love the city, too.
with the drug problem and the crime problem and, the jobs, leaving, you would think, that the mayor would have just been a little more smart about it, It just seems so disrespectful, arrogant. I mean, I just really despise the guy. I just don't like him. And Ken Pittman, if he's going to go out there and try to, do the Trump thing, I'm going to join him. I'm going to go there. Why not? I want to see the mayor,
Oh, yeah. No,
same thing.
Ken had a very good show this morning. But I think the mayor was parroting more of the Bill Clinton's attitude or the attitude of the higher-ups of the party, okay, more than, anything else. But
the laws for them and laws for us, right?
Well, okay, now you got it.
That's not right. That's not right. I expected better from the mayor. I thought he was a law and order guy. After all, he did chase, he was part of the people that unsuccessfully chased around Whitey Bulger and, he canned scallops. The guy's a joke.
Well,
the people in New Bedford, I
think he's, well, to be fair, though, I guess...
You know what it is? It's the young people don't vote.
Right.
A lot of the working people, half of them don't vote. And all the old people that are afraid, that have been lied to by the Democratic Party, they're going to run out and vote Democrat no matter what because they're afraid. And my dad was the same way. The Democrats are for the poor and the Republicans are only for the rich.
Mm-hmm.
And I just never bought that argument, and I never wanted to belong to a party.
Well, I think both parties are for the rich at the top. Okay, I don't think there's a difference. At the top.
That was the thing.
Democrats and Republicans. There is virtually no difference.
Even when I would tell my dad, I was like, there's more millionaire Democrats in Congress than there are Republicans. He didn't want to hear it. They're brainwashed.
Well, that's
they're
true.
Brainwashed.
Yeah. Well,
so many. It's sad. I hope Trump gets. I'm a Trump guy all the way.
Well, Trump has got issues. He's
got issues, but you know what?
They all do.
He reminds me of my uncle. And I like him. Hey, I just trust him. I trust him a lot more than I trust Mitchell.
But
I'll tell you that.
I think if something can be said about this whole experience we're going through, is how Trump has shown the real reality of how these parties work. At the highest level.
Well, a lot of us knew that already.
Well, but not to the depth. They've been exposed now. And even when you have our own governor say he won't vote for Trump, so what does that mean? You're going to vote for Hillary?
I know.
And it's the same deal, just like when the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, that was pushed through Congress and the Senate, they had to Obama couldn't get his rank and file Democrats, because if I was a good Democrat and I was representing Detroit and the unions, auto unions, and they said, Ralph, you can't go for this TPP. You know, the boys here don't want to see that happen. So, well, boys, oh, I understand. You guys helped me out, a lot of PAC money. And I would go to my masters and say to the party leaders, the whip, say, hey, I can't go. And he said, oh, we know, Ralph, you can't support us. Hey, you got the unions back you there in Detroit. But don't worry about it. We got guys on the other side who'll back it, the Republicans. So Obama went to Republicans, and they put it together. See, at the top, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the same deal. They're in the club, you're not. Yep. And they go in modest. Some go in quite rich, and they come out richer. Others go in with modest, and they come out rich. So, you know, when you see the game, and I'm not saying all of them. It's unfair. There's some people who are dedicated there on the left and on the right, both sides. And
that's why I can't take either side.
Well, no, there are people on the left who work hard and look for fairness and justice. Same on the right, and they agree to disagree and to negotiate, and that's what it's supposed to be. But there's so much cronyism at the highest levels and money. And that's just what happens.
It's got to tell you something when the Democrats and the Republicans and Fox News,
they're against
BBC and CBS and everybody, and it even comes through on the news on WBSM.
Well, you know what, my friend? Everybody's worried about their piece of cheese.
Good.
Okay.
And you know what? Everybody's going to still vote for Trump. And I can't wait to see where it goes.
All right.
Have a great day, Ralph.
Thank you, sir. Caller on the line, please stay with us. We'll catch you on the side of the news, okay? We're going to be back. Thank you for listening. All About Cars, Ralph Medeiros from Ralph's Auto Center.
I had a bad yen, and I had quite a ball when I was young.
We're back.
But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. And you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people. White collar, blue collar.
Okay, we're back. George Carlin. He's since departed this physical plane. He was born on May 12th, 1937, and he left us in June 22nd, 2008 at the relatively young age of 71 years old. Heart failure. I couldn't play the whole cut because he does get a little more colorful in his language, and this is a family radio program. I guess after 10 p.m. in the evening we could play it maybe, but not now. But anyway, you can always look him up. Go to YouTube on one of those sites like that. There's others, and you can pull that one's called The American Dream. Very interesting little cut, and he did it he did it about 10 years ago, I guess, at least. So there you have it. This is All About Cars with Ralph Medeiros. I own and operate Ralph's Auto Center with my son Andrew in the north end of New Bedford. We're located at 867 Church Street, right beside Dollar General and directly across from Vocational's Faculty Service entrance on Church Street. And we're about just over a half a mile down from exit 5 ramp off of Route 140, not a traffic light or a stop sign, to come see us. We sell quality used cars. We price our cars between $4,000 and $15,000. SUVs and trucks go up to $20,000 that we normally stock. And we thoroughly go through our cars. We put a lot of money in our cars to get them ready for you before we take your money. Most dealerships, they put as little in the cars they possibly can to get you out the door, get you a sticker, and say, adios, amigos. We don't operate that way. I mean, if there's a problem, we back it up. I mean, these are machines. They break down. Just like we get sick, well, cars get sick, too. They have to be, and it can be the nicest, newest car, whatever. It doesn't matter. Things happen to machines. We're a biological machine, and things happen to us. So most people understand that, and we do correct a problem. If you're under the warranty with us, we back you up. And most of our machines come with 90 days. A lot of places just give you 30 days, especially at the price points we sell at. And we've been at it since 1959. We started in New Bedford on Allen and Oak Street way back in 1959. My dad started. They had a prior place on Town Line way back in the 40s, but he restarted because he did work for Shockey Tire and Rubber back in the 50s when he was starting his family. And I came to Earth along with my three other brothers. So that's a little bit of history about us. We also do all kinds of service and maintenance, no matter what model, make, car you have. We do pretty much everything except for warranty work, of course. And we do a lot of restorative maintenance, meaning we only do what's necessary to keep you on the road at the lowest possible costs. And we try to consult with our people and work with them. A lot of folks are really under pressure. And transportation is not cheap, it's expensive. And so is maintenance. So we try to offer good value. And, if you don't drive a car and someone's having a problem and, they give you a ride once in a while, refer them to us. We deeply appreciate it. I deeply appreciate the people. I've met some very wonderful people in this community. We often get knocked, and I get upset when some people knock this area, and I travel a lot, and it really upsets me, and I correct them. Now, we have our problems. The whole country has its problems. And that's the way it is. This is a problem from in every state of the union. Some have different kind of problems at greater degrees, and we have ours, and that's the way it is. But it's the whole society. If you look around and see what's happened, but I think that the way our fishing industry is going to hell and being very possibly overregulated. When government hand comes into things, it's usually disastrous. It's at just about every level. Now, I'm not saying government is totally harmful. No, I'm not advocating of saying that at all. But I do know that when government comes in and starts to manage things like the Bureau of Land and Mines, out what they've done out west to the farmers and to the miners, and you look at over here in the fishing with NOAA, I don't know. I don't think they listen to the rank and file. I don't think they look and try to find scientists to do the research who are pretty much neutral, okay? Not these radical environmental groups. So now we're shutting down our fishery, so maybe we got a chance to do what Newport's done, turn into a mini Newport, okay? I don't know. I guess it's a remote possibility. I don't know. But if you're in the market for a quality used car, stop by and see Andrew and myself, or Tammy and my brother David. My brother David helps us out part-time, and talk to us. And now's the time to plan. We try to work with people. We'll work ahead with you. If you're looking for a specific car, we'll find that car for you, generally speaking, and save you money. We also sell cars. If you've inherited a car, an extra car in a family, someone passed away, and you want to sell it, you don't want to have strangers coming to your house, you put it on Craigslist, and you have people calling you 10, 11 o'clock at night. You have all this ragtag outfit showing up, nosing around your house. If you don't want to deal with that, we deal with it. And we get you a fair market price, which neutralizes our fee to sell your car. So very often you come out way ahead. And we handle all the paperwork and make sure everything's done in a legal and above-board way, both working with you and with the customer. So everybody's on the same page. We've done many, many, many transactions like that, and it's worked out very well for people. Some cars sell faster than others. Some are slow. It depends. The market's very finicky right now. And but you should consult with us on that. We also do appraisals. If your car's been totaled and you're not sure you got a fair offer, we don't charge you if you come in and talk to us or call us, and I'll be more than happy to run some numbers to see that you're getting a fair payoff on your car. Very often you get squared out fair. Other times some companies out there try to beat you because you don't know the business, so they can beat you for $500 or $1,000. You know, life's great for them. Okay, so it's better off that way. Okay, we got a lot of callers here. I'm going to stop talking. This is first, right? Okay. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, good afternoon. It's all about cars, but it's also about a little bit of politics, right?
A little bit of everything. What's on your mind?
Well, you brought up so many topics that...
yeah, I just expressed my views, so I was, you know...
It's difficult to see which one we should
which one
talk about.
Which one rang your chime?
Most of them are very interesting, and I don't listen that much, but today I happened that you brought up a few interesting things, and I figured that get a little bit of reaction.
Good.
You have.
Good.
You mentioned something about the common that we have. We really don't have much common with some of these guys that become elected, especially up in presidential. You mentioned that...
well, I meant in common, Martha, the lady, the ambassador to Portugal at the time in the 90s, I've forgotten her name. She was a very tall, slender, Sylvette, blonde gal that was heir to the R.J. Reynolds, her husband, and she had mentioned there was a lot in common between Nantucket and Massachusetts, and all I said to the person beside me, the only thing I know in common is we're in the same Massachusetts waters, and I was being facetious, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry.
Whenever you be appointed ambassador, you have to have a lot of influence, a lot of money, and a lot of influence.
You got
it. But it goes for both parties.
Oh, absolutely. No, believe me, I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah. You're right.
The thing that is getting me a little bit thinking is that the Republicans, for 8 years, they've been going after Obama for 8 years. And they've been successful because they finally had a Republican Congress and a Republican Senate.
All right.
And they haven't done much as far as that goes either. They continue the same thing. Obama is going to be out.
Right.
And I want to know who they're going to replace him with. And then the GOP comes up with these candidates for the presidency when they have a good shot at taking over the White House. And when I see these debates and I see what they selected to run for president, I get very upset.
Well,
they don't talk about the issues.
I agree.
They keep going after Obama.
Yeah.
Obama's not going to affect me when it comes to January. It's going to be whoever's going to be the president.
Well,
and they're not talking about the issues. You, Ralph, because I listen to you. You have a little bit of tendency, a little more to the right, which I respect.
Yeah.
I respect anybody, and I do have a lot of things in common, like you do.
Fiscally, I'm to the right. Socially, I'm liberal.
Yes.
Okay? I mean, I'm liberal socially. I could care less. Gays want to get married, fine. I have no issues. I got a lot of gay friends. But
let me ask you a question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do I have in common with Donald Trump? This guy...
what does have...
what does he have in common with the regular guy that works every day for a living? This man is a rich man, and he doesn't have contacts with anybody. Anybody who's poor. Every time I see him on a golf course with all multimillionaires, with professional golfers.
Yeah.
And now he wants to become president.
Well, but
and it could be.
That's a right observation. But he's no different than Obama or Hillary or Bill Clinton when they're on a golf course. The only poor folk there, well, not even the caddy. Caddy's probably doing pretty well. But I mean, for left or right, it doesn't matter. They're both they're both up there, and they're in a different club than you or I. That's a given. That's a given. But I think he's. I mean, and I'm not. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not defending Donald Trump, but he's hired a lot of people. He's had to work with a lot of people, and I think he's associated with more working folk and unions than maybe most of the politicians have, because he's run a business. He's had to hire people and get things done. He didn't paint the building.
Much of a selection between M and the other two that run, and that run it anyway.
Yeah.
And they couldn't come up with something better since they've been talking about for so many years. I really think that we've been in a democracy for going about 200 years, right? And I believe this is one of the longest democracies there is. Comes to a point that they must change to something else. And I think that's what's going to happen to this country for the simple reason that right now you're ready for a new party system for the simple reason that the independents are larger than the Republicans and the Democrats. And therefore, I have a feeling that the time came that democracy is in jeopardy. And somebody's going to come along and form a new party because apparently the two are really not representing the people any longer.
I think your thoughts are right, but if I can help you clarify it, in my opinion, I think Trump is like a third party. He's like a fifth element within the Republican Party, and that's what they find so revolting, that he's not beholden to the powers to be, the hierarchy in the party. And I think, that's how I feel. But I understand, and I appreciate you calling and expressing your views. It's delightful to hear you call.
Is he the solution or the problem?
Trump? That's the question. That's probably the best comment I've heard in a while. Is he a solution or the problem? Well, I guess that depends on which side of the aisle you're on. I find it fascinating that the party and Rice Priebus, Rice Priebus. Who would name his son like that, Rice Priebus? But anyway, they're all against them. They have PAC monies. I saw on TV, you probably saw the same commercials on a very derogatory Trump ad going against him. And I read in fine print there, barely could see it. I forget the coalition. It's another one of the many PACs. So I go to the website, look it up. And all it asks me for is my email and want me to donate. No history, no telling me who's behind the PAC, where the money's coming from. And I found that, I said, man, we're really reaching some real low common denominators here. I mean, it's getting down to some real trench warfare. And it's mostly the Republican money fighting them because, I think what people are worried about, their economic interests, their deals, the cheese. They can't call him and influence him like they can a Rubio or a Cruz. Or a Clinton. Clinton is tight with the banks. She'll give you all this BS about how she's going to do this for the bank and all that. Wall Street is financing a lot of her, putting a lot of money on her. She's gotten $700,000 in speaking fees. I mean, versus Bernie Sanders, I think, has got $12,000 or something. I mean, you start looking at the numbers and you start, So
is everybody else except for the other candidate.
Well, no, the others, I mean, but Bill Clinton has received hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Hillary's brought in all kinds of money. Their foundation has raised all kinds of money from other sovereign states as well. And I'll tell you this, mark my words. In 5 years from now, Obama will be one of the richest black men in America, if not the world.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Because he'll be given... he'll be paid $500,000 to speak at the Association of American Bankers, and all these other, the international insurance groups and all these other places around the world, and he'll be richly rewarded.
Well, that's the problem in this country. We vote, but apparently we don't have any influence anymore.
Well, you're right. I think the last great president, they shot him, Kennedy. Kennedy brought it out. If you listen to some of his speeches, he was talking to an American audience that was, by and large, far less educated than today's audience, in a formal sense. But you listen to the level of his speeches, and you say to yourself, wait a minute, back then you were lucky to have a high school diploma, and not as many people had certainly a college degree, and you listen to the level of his conversation to the American people. I find it fascinating, and you look at what's happened in 50 years, how far we've dumbed down. Now, it's just, I got to let you go, but thank you for the call.
Very good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Caller, thank you for holding.
Hey, no problem. Good afternoon, Ralph.
Good afternoon.
That segment you played with...
George Carlin.
Thank you.
Yep.
His style of humor is not my thing, but I'll tell you something. There's not a word he said in that segment that I disagree with.
Yeah, well, too bad I couldn't play at all, but...
Yeah, well, FCC. You know.
Yeah, right. But, I mean, you find it...
he is dead on.
Yeah.
You know, my field, good starting point. CNN had a little news item on their website the other week about the new SAT test. And the people at SAT, Princeton, whatever it's called, said 42% of the students who take the SAT are shown to be ready for college.
How many percent?
42.
That are academically ready.
Academically ready without remediation.
Okay, so they...
Now, here's the scary part, to me at least. It has not budged in 10 years.
I'm surprised it hasn't gone down. I mean, not gone down, gone up as far as the percentage.
So all these grand, you know how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
All these grand experiments in education have been abysmal failures.
But, Carla, would you agree with me that here we have a huge federal educational department that dictates and passes all these edicts and mandates, and they say, well, I'll give you this $1 million, but you have to implement this program. And now you look...
selling your soul.
Yeah, right. And now the educators, the troops in the front lines, the professional educators, the teachers, and there are a lot of good teachers dedicated.
Damn straight.
I can look at my life. I have had some teachers influence me when I went to Voc, and one of them has passed away, Henry Sabula, and he made a big change in my life as a young man. And Terry Gomes is another one, Dr. Gomes, and pretty dedicated people, in the trenches, but they have to follow all these federal edicts and state edicts from these very highly educated bureaucrats, and I don't know. I think we're failing in our mission to educate children.
And I'm going to go a little bit beyond that, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I think there's some people who want it that way.
Oh, well... Yeah, I would tend to say
how badly could it be misdirected?
Well, I think when kids can't count change back, can't balance a checkbook, don't know fractions from decimals, basic, I'm not painting everybody because I meet some bright, I meet some bright young people. What scares me is the percentage of those who are becoming, they're just ignorant. The percentages are growing.
When I look at, I'm not as a science teacher, under Common Core. I'm under what's called NGSS, Next Generation Science Standards. Mm-hmm. They are not even well written in terms of the English.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind the science. How did we get here? I look at when my father passed away, one thing I wish I hadn't done was throw away his textbooks. My father had an 8th grade education, but he, in many respects was self-educated. I look at the textbooks he had, were easy 50-plus years ago. They are superior to anything I've seen today.
Yeah.
There was no garbage in them. They were all about content.
Well, today everything has to be quite politically correct, and I granted some of the... You're talking textbooks now, right?
Yeah.
Some of the textbooks were written maybe with a somewhat biased view as far as the...
I'm just saying they're even poor quality.
Well, no, but
they're
I mean...
glitzy. They got stuff all over the page.
Some of the history books were probably less than honest as far as the, the genocide to the Indians and certain cultures like that that could have been better explained. And I'm not saying just, turn it...
Quoted things with glory and wonderfulness even when they weren't.
But show both sides of the issues. And,
but, a math textbook, for example, I'm still appalled at how many of my students can't do basic math.
Yeah, it isn't amazing, isn't it?
But it's a battle that, nobody wants to hear about. So we spend money on these wonderful programs that are shoved down our throats, and they don't mean anything. And then you go on to the next, quote, wonderful program that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But on to politics. I think the last caller made a good point.
Yep.
Trump.
Yeah.
Is he an example of the problem or the solution?
No, it's an interesting statement. But I think he represents the anguish, the anger, the disgust that a lot of people, it's growing, have had it. And I think it's also related that people, their refrigerators aren't empty yet, but it's getting harder to fill the refrigerator. People are getting poorer in America for decades. So, and I'm talking people who've been gainfully employed for years, who get off their ass, who work hard, but they're finding out as hard as they work, there's nothing left.
Well, you know what's happening, and a good example of this was my newspaper. I get the bill to renew my newspaper, and I do it by 6 months.
Yeah.
It just went up 15%.
Really? I haven't.
6 months ago, you know how much it went up?
How much?
15%.
Oh, so wow, that's a significant. Well, newspapers are struggling.
They are like corporate America, and I look at the paper; it's so loaded with advertising. They're doing really well. They're all raping us.
Well,
look at the airlines. When things were tough for them, they took flight crews took hits. Now that things are good for us, good for them, they're still trying to find ways to stick it to us. The banks we bailed out are still working at sticking it to us.
But see, caller, I don't know if I'd use the adjective sticking or the phrase sticking it to us, but I think they're out to make money, and they'll try to make as much money as they can. What is the fulcrum point, though, is competition. Okay, it's the lack of competition is when you get stuck to you, and when it comes to government, we have no choice. So that's where we get it really stuck to us. Okay,
but dance to government. But
that's that example.
Sector,
but
at the highest of levels, there is no real competition.
You're right.
We've seen in the last decade plus of corporations buying each other out.
Right.
Say it on the financial programs.
The banks.
The success of the stock market is driven today by acquisitions and mergers.
Right.
Competition is going away.
Right. Well, look at when you go to your pharmacy for your drugs. How many drugstores you have now? You got major corporate chains in New Bedford now. You don't have little.
Mom and pops, if you will,
I mean, I went over to Pharma Health over at Hawthorne Medical. Dick Brisson has that store over there, and I said, and I was happy that I could go there. And I'll go out of my way to go there because it's a locally owned pharmacy.
Yeah.
That Richard Brisson owns over there, and now he's got one store that I'm aware of. I think he had several others, but he's running a store over at Hawthorne Medical on Fonscon Road, and I'll make it a point to go there because it's locally owned and not a chain, and that's my feeling. But okay, so
well, you look at medicine. Doctors, you see less and less independent doctors today.
Well, they can't make it.
To survive, they've got to be part of these big groups.
Right.
But to be very honest, they are just employees.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Well, paid employees, but nonetheless employees of these major corporations.
But doctors' wages, for the most part, have gone down for the hours they put in. And
they work hard. They earn every penny they get.
That's right. So the doctors they're under a lot of pressure. I know a lot of doctors, and I'm not crying. I'm not speaking on their behalf. I mean, they're still doing well, but they work for it. They work very hard for it, and But
nobody intends to make it better. I don't believe. I think if anybody believes, I'm going to speak my heart. I don't care anymore. Yeah. If anybody believes Trump is going to make it better for them, they're stupid.
Well,
and maybe that's the biggest problem in this country going. We're stupid. We want our reality shows. We can't put our, I watch my language, our cell phone down for 1 minute. We got to be taking umpteen selfies of ourselves.
But that's the culture. See, this is the brains have been genetically modified by TV, by our food, by our culture, and we should be taxing Hollywood for the crap they disseminate, not just occupying Wall Street. Well, and the Hollywood Hollywood, for the most part, donates far more money to the Democratic Party. So they're left alone pretty much because they're writing the check.
Yeah, but to simply blame it on the Democrats,
No, I'm just saying we don't have any. When you look at the culture we're disseminating in America.
Yeah, and businesses are profiting off of it.
Absolutely.
And as you said, it's all about the profit.
Yep.
So, if somebody wants to, we're so bad now, if somebody wants to give us quality, they can't get there.
Well, but
we don't want
quality has to be supported. Okay, if you put out quality movies, people want to see shoot 'em ups and all this, and if you put a quality drama on or something like that, most people are just, it's the way it is, my friend. I gotta let you go. I'm losing calls. So
there was always the shoot 'em ups.
Yeah.
I grew up with
westerns.
But at least there was some quality to it.
Well, today's shoot 'em ups. I mean, it's one thing if you're seeing a movie with a good story to it, but it's and people are sucked into the tube. We need major reforms. I look at Trump. I look at Trump as being like the fifth element within the Republican Party.
I look at him as the consummate example of the problem, the con artist who has so conned everybody.
Well, you're putting. I look at it as a bigger picture, though. I'm not trying to, and I'm not saying this in support of him. I'm just telling you as an observation. If you ask me, I'm looking at it as more of a.
I really think, in my heart and soul, he thinks we're stupid.
Well, I don't know. I disagree. I got to let you go, though. Thank you.
Now.
Yeah, bye-bye. Who's up next? Right here. This gentleman, right? Very good afternoon. Thank you for holding, caller.
Boy, oh boy. I'm not stupid.
Comrade Larry.
I'm not stupid, Ralph. I can tell you that right now. For an educated, that didn't sound too smart to me.
Well, people have different opinions, so now it's your turn.
Their opinions, but I tell you what, if you can't see, if you are so blind that you can't see that this guy is shaking it up, and he's the only one that's been shaking it up.
Yeah,
and if you think by electing a Rubio, who's the mouthpiece of the establishment, because the establishment sounds so stupid. Mitt Romney is the biggest moron in the world. I'd never vote for him again.
Well, but I thought he did the speech. The speech was well written and well executed. I mean, I was impressed. I was impressed with his delivery and his articulation. I was highly, highly impressed. I'm not saying
he's an intelligent man.
No, I'm not saying I agreed with the message. I'm just saying I thought he did and I thought myself, I said, why the hell didn't he do that 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
Well, I didn't want to vote for him 4 years ago, Ralph. Well,
when you consider the alternative,
all it would have been is more for the elitist.
Well, it's a lighter version of the alternative, if you think of it that way. Yeah, it's one and the same. I ultimately agree with you. Yeah. Because the people who make the game, who set the odds, they own both sides of the street. So and then they put it out to us, and most of us don't have a bloody clue. And
a lot of people have no idea.
We think it's Republicans, Democrats. Well, at the highest levels, at the top, the differences, there are no differences. I mean, there are some. To be unfair, there are some. Like I said, there's some truly honest and sincere hard left people, or left-leaning, not hard, and some are hard, but left-leaning, and there's some honest and sincere right-leaning. But that being said, the people who run the parties, okay, and that became so glaringly clear when the Republicans went to bat, when Obama went to Republicans, and they supported him in voting in TPP. So that tells you right there, it's a fixed game. It's a fixed game.
Mitch McConnell, he's a loser. They're all losers.
Well, we can call them what we want. People can call me names, call you names. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. But, you have to change the flow, the current. And that's the key. You and I, we can be a rock in the stream, whatever, and they'll call you names. But to see change, to make fundamental changes is the difficult part.
Ralph, I'm going to tell you. This is truly a godsend. Everybody agrees. One thing we can all agree on: it's a big mess.
Well, yeah, but we're all part of the mess, though. Keep that in mind. We're all
a mess.
We're all part of the mess.
That's right. If you listen to him, and it becomes more clear to me that Bush, garbage. The newest son that ran, not interested. None of them, because they're going to get in and they're going to work the party. They're going to be in the party, and the party is the problem. I almost hope
the party. They work for the party.
Yeah.
They're controlled by the party. They owe the party. They owe the people who gave money to them. See, Trump is writing his own ticket, and I'm not defending him, so they have very little control over him. And I'm not. Hey, he's done a lot of things. He's messed up on for sure. But
for sure.
But he's And, you know, he's playing to the mindset of the American public right now, which is emotional. It's more game and entertainment based, and he's into the gaming and, you know, with his reality program. So he knows the media. So he's playing that card because, you know, and he's playing it to the max. Now, that's all fine for the masses and get the votes from the proletariat. But I think what's scaring the people, the intellectuals, the elites, is his policies. See, they know this is all, you know, bread and circus kind of deal at the masses level, because they all do it on their side too to influence.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So they play the game too, except Trump is showing them at a new level of highness or lowness. Take your pick. But now they're saying, "Holy crap! What are we going to do now?" So. And they're worried about their interests, okay? The lobbyists.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, this is all about the elitists, personal gain, their wealth.
Right. Yeah, no, so it's their piece of cheese. Their piece of cheese, Larry.
Hey, Ralph, you know, I had to laugh. I heard, yeah, their piece of cheese. We don't even get the crumbs of the cheese. They want the cheese and the ham.
Well,
and
okay.
I was listening to the mayor 2 weeks ago, and he comes on, and he's going to, you know, slam in this business downtown because they have a mess outside.
Okay.
And he's going to send them a letter, and he's going to fine them because they're not cleaning up the sidewalk. I forget which building it was, one of the buildings down there. And I called in and I said, why don't you just send the city guys by there, clean it up? Didn't you just raise the taxes $1 million because you couldn't get enough businesses, but you want to fine them and hurt them? And, you know,
but Larry, I hear where you're coming from, but if a business is irresponsible and can't just do a basic job in cleaning up, I can't defend that business. You know what I mean? Or a homeowner who has a shit house, pardon my language, in the yard. But if you know, there has to be some civic responsibility. So you know what I mean? Yeah, we got to carry a high rate of taxation. Fine, okay, we're an urban area, poor urban city. That's the realities of it. Fine, but if a business doesn't pull their weight in a civic sense, then I really don't. I can't have much compassion for him. Okay.
Well, so, I understand because you and I mean, I keep.
No, I mean, I have to say, you know, you have to be if you're running a business and you get your garbage blowing over the street, that's not right. Get your ass out there, clean it up.
No, that isn't right. But you don't go down and you fine the people.
Well, but I'm sure this ain't the first time around for that outfit, whoever it is. I don't know who it is, so I don't have a clue.
Yeah,
but
I can't remember. It's right downtown.
I'm sure it's not the first time at bat for that outfit. So I don't think the mayor's wrong on that one. You know what I mean? So I mean, you have to be responsible, whether you're a business or a homeowner. I mean, if you got crap all around your yard, you're creating a hazard. Or you know, you got to clean up the city.
Because it's right downtown. What they don't look around is the rest of the underground shops, the underground landscapers.
Well, okay. Well, in my trade, there's a lot of underground garages. That's for sure.
In my trade,
I hear you.
There's more underground than above ground.
But if you push the inspection authorities, they do, you know, eventually get on the deal. Okay, so you know, depending on the severity. So you know, the system works. You just have to push it. But
I don't know how it works. The other day, 2 days ago, they were counting 4% unemployment.
In Massachusetts.
No, I think it was nationwide.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, listen. They
you believe that?
No, I don't. I don't believe hardly any of the numbers. They massage everything.
Yeah, but they're lying to us.
So what's changed?
That's right. They have to stop lying.
Yeah.
How can you keep believing a loser? And I just heard you talking about wealth isn't the same.
But the key, Larry, you know what the key is? As people become more informed, more educated, more enlightened, that doesn't mean they have to agree with me by any means. But the fact is you're a little better read, a little better informed. When you hear these numbers, you start to question. And then they realize finally that they can't continue to be, well, to use the more extreme word, lie, or some people would say misstate. They have to be more cautious on what they say because they know they're going to be under the light, the light of review. So I think we accomplish our mission as individuals to become more informed of what takes place in our communities, locally, the state level, the federal level. And then you start to vote accordingly and support those people accordingly with your money and resources. And until people get to that level...
As you can see, even with Trump, if you like Trump, they're trying to beat him down so bad. Just think about if you weren't Trump and you didn't have his money and you're trying to get into politics, because you want to make a change. Do you think you got a snowball's chance? And you know what?
Absolutely not.
There you go.
Absolutely not, because you
see. So now we
not
don't
unless
even have. We don't even have the tools to change it anymore.
Well, no, you do have that. You do have the chance to make it if you sell your soul.
Generation?
No, you sell your soul. You sell your soul, bro.
Yeah, but not for the people.
Well, not. Well.
Yeah.
Well, it usually starts off for the people, but it ends up being for you and I at the end. I mean, you know what I mean?
Greed takes over.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's
well, but it takes involvement, it takes enlightenment, it takes education. Okay, there are no easy answers to being a good citizen. Okay, but a citizen, when you talk about litter bugs me. So I have absolutely not. I won't give a business who's.
I'd rather have a little litter and a couple more jobs. That's all I.
No, you have to pick up after yourself. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm constantly picking up all kinds of crap.
Oh, I am too, especially around this yard.
In front of the dealership, I pick up bottles and cans and coffee. Oh God, I'm sick of it. But I do it. I do it because I just don't want to see the eyesore.
Yep, I understand that part. We got some businesses up here.
No, you have to be responsible. I mean, you get up and you wash your face every day. At least you should. So.
But honestly, when things were kind of run right, we would look harder at that particular issue. But right now, it's like any job is a good job, from what I keep seeing.
Well. Yeah.
When you're talking about jobs at McDonald's and
no. Listen. I have some people that say, "Where you work, McDonald's," and they'll say, "Oh, they lower their voice." Say, "Listen, you should be happy. You got a job. You're making money. There's nothing wrong with the job you're doing. You learn from it. You move on." So, that's the way you got to look at it.
All right, I gotta get back to it.
See you later. Nice hearing from you.
I used to make $1, and now I'm down to 50 cents.
Hey, if the inflation hits, that 50 cents will be worth $2. So think of it that way.
Have a good one, Ralph.
See you later. Could always be worse. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Can always be worse, folks. We could be in Syria right now being a refugee, worrying about your next meal. All right? And I'm not being facetious when I say that. I'm being extremely serious. Other people, you could be a Venezuelan right now with 200% inflation. You think you got problems? You have no idea. The workers' paradise, which Chavez, long departed with us now, is in deep trouble with massive inflation. They're printing money. They're in deep trouble. Oil prices have collapsed. So Venezuela is going through some crushing changes. The people there have gotten, they've gotten significantly poorer, and crime is off the charts. They're losing control of the country. Canada, our comrades to the north, and I guess you can call them comrades. They're a little more pinker than we are. They're having massive inflation problems with their currency collapsing 30% to the dollar. But see, in this country, you won't hear things like that. Puerto Rico's going through some very hard changes right now. Greece is not out of it. We got a lot of issues happening around us globally. So, but it pays to inform yourself. And I meet so many people who are in the electronic ghetto, and I can help you get out of the ghetto. I have a nice radio lines that'll reach out and reach other stations, get a diversity of opinion. If you get online, you got to get online. I got an FM transmitter you can hook up to your computer, stream it to every radio in your house, or if you're in the yard cutting grass or just laying down on a lounge chair, you can educate yourself, learn so much more. But you have to make the effort, okay? I meet so many people who don't go online. I find it mind-boggling. And these are intelligent people, okay? These are not, people suffering from dementia, okay? They just go with the mainstream news sources, and they truly are in an electronic ghetto. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon, Billy. How you doing, darling?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing?
Great.
Good to hear your voice. That'd be good to hear your voice.
That quarter ring clock, that's Billy's? Right here, ring on the quarter?
Yes, it is.
That's cool. My great-grandmother had a couple of those.
Yeah, he's got them all over the place. Which one I hit?
You don't want them heard in the background, though, because somebody could pick up on your designation where you are, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, really?
You got to clear them out. But anyway.
What's on your mind, sweetheart?
What's your favorite penetrating oil, like if you have a seized-up defective calipers? I've been out there. No, there's no miles on it, but she hangs up, and I've been spraying penetrating oil and a 3-pound hammer.
Oh, God. But the piston's stuck? You're trying to pull the caliper open?
Oh, so I got her free.
Wait a minute.
She's free.
So you got it free off the rotor?
Yeah.
Okay, but you have to pull the pistons back, correct?
Right.
They have a tool.
It keeps coming back.
It keeps freezing?
Once in a while.
And you mean it hangs up and drags?
Exactly.
Okay.
She's dragging, but not hard.
Sometimes if you're daring enough, you could take the piston out and see if it's rusty or burred,
Oh yeah, I gotta
clean that up. What is this on? A big rig?
No, it's a F350. Single wheel.
Well, you could probably buy a caliber.
Just all the way around.
You can buy
single wheel F350.
Well, you could probably buy a cheap caliber.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I
so
can do that.
and we'd save yourself, put a.
There's only 8,000 miles on it. They were factory defects.
Oh. Well, okay.
Gotta love Ford.
8,000 miles on it?
Yeah.
Then go back to the dealer, see if there's a recall.
No, I'm off warranty because of time.
Oh.
So I've been.
Well, I go online and see if there's any recall.
Any calipers on this summer.
Yeah. Well, but if that's hanging up and you don't want to be burning your pads out and
no, I'm not,
overheating your rotor. So
I get underneath it and tap it. I get underneath it with a hammer. I'm not scared to get dirty.
You're a tough girl.
No, I have to be. No one else is going to do it. Ooh, I gotta ask you this much.
Go ahead.
What is your favorite penetrating oil?
Marvel Mistral I like.
Marvel, and how about?
I like the best penetrating oil in my mind is House penetrating oil. I think it's one of
TV Blaster.
Yeah, I think so. I think House has been around since the 20s. It's fantastic. I had one of my senior technicians who is now in Florida, a man I deeply respect. He was like my chief engineer in the back shop, and if I talked about something, he could do it, and I go back there and it would be done to military standards. I mean, this guy just had a fundamental understanding of machines and how to work them, and when I said, try this stuff out, and he came back to me like a month later. He says, boss, where'd you get that stuff? I said, why? You don't like it? He said, no, I want more. Get it. He said, it's the best I've ever worked with. And when he told me that, and this guy, I deeply respect his opinion. But House...
That's an old name, isn't it?
Yeah. I think they make it now in Quonset, Rhode Island, down in the South County. Google it. House. H-O...
yeah, I got a computer across the street the other
Yeah, go ahead.
Marvel Mystery Oil. That stuff works good for... a lifter. I had a lifter making noise at only 3,000 miles, and
it'll act as an internal solvent. It's kind of like it'll clean it up.
It was out of my great-grandfather's barn.
Yeah, been around since 1922.
I dumped it in there. I haven't heard a noise in a year.
You're a smart kid.
But I changed the oil, but she quieted it right down. I'll let you go, but I want to leave you with something for the future. Joe Williams or Leonard Cohen?
Leonard Cohen.
Songs.
I like Leonard Cohen.
Leonard Cohen. Okay, I'm Your Man.
I love
that song.
I love that. I played that here before.
Did you really?
Yeah. Maybe next week I'll play it for you, sweetheart.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hey, don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Okay. I got a wide. All right. See you later. I'm Your Man. I like that on Your Man. It's one of my favorite tunes. Okay. And I played Vaughn Monroe. Actually, the lady that called in the first hour talking about Vaughn Monroe and the tune she wanted to play. I had him queued up, but not for that tune. I had Riders in the Sky, which is one of his #1 hits at the time. We got a couple of minutes late. I apologize for the callers that called in I couldn't get to. We had quite a few, but if you're in the market for quality used car, come by and see us. If you've had a bad experience, you should try one of our experiences, and we'll try to, you'll be surprised, I think. I think in life, experience is what you got when you didn't get what you wanted, and that's what it comes down to. That's what experience is. Okay, experience is what you got when you didn't get what you wanted, and so if you're going to learn from your experiences, you have to apply them. So a lot of people get burned in buying automobiles, and if you don't want it to happen again, at least put us on your list and shop around. I mean, we're used to being in a competitive environment. Maybe that makes me a little more right of center, as a caller said earlier, financially speaking, because I have to get out there every day and you vote with your dollars, so I'm aware of that, and I respect that. So we have to earn that right of you spending your wealth with us, and we respect that, and I sincerely mean that. So we're up for election every hour we're open, and we see how hard it is out there to keep in the game, to stay keeping this country going, and keep make your payroll, pay your taxes, pay all the other fees and insurances and all the other expenses that go along with running a business, big or small. And it's getting tougher and tougher to keep this country going, okay, as we know it. And everything now is getting you deal with companies that are much tougher to deal with, and it's just a reality out there because everybody's piece of cheese is getting smaller, okay, and it's getting harder to survive. And the big gorilla in the room is the government, and they can just tax us out of business, okay, and confiscate it, and this is the reality. But okay, I'm going to let you go. Thank you. It's been an interesting program. Thank you for listening, and please look us up at Ralph's Auto Center in North End, New Bedford. And I thank you for listening to us for the last couple hours, and you can reach us at Ralph's cars.com as well. Catch you next week. Be safe.